Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cook all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Get it on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm. Today is Wednesday, September 30th, 2020. This is episode 129, and it may seem like an odd number to you, but this is a big one to me. There's a few different reasons why, guys. One, this is the first in-person interview I've done since early March, and I've made a lot of upgrades to the podcast studio. We're about halfway there right now. I'm waiting on some more stuff to come in, but it is also important because this man has a lot that he's been working on, and he's a dear friend of mine, and I knew it was perfect timing because he's got a lot coming up. Episode 129 features the one, the only, Arvi Mala. And if you are in the Chicago music scene, this is a name that, without a doubt, for certain, you know. And I wanted to have him on, actually, because 2 years ago, I interviewed him and his partner in crime, Alex Kislov, another name you should know. But I knew it was time to get Arvi on the show to get his full story. And man, let me tell you, it's incredible. In episode 129, we discuss Arvi's journey from being born in Albania, moving to Greece, and finally making his way to the Midwest here in Chicago with his family. And it's truly an incredible story, and I appreciated him sharing a lot of awesome details about the ups and downs that he's experienced from that time in his life. We also talked about his inspirations musically. If you know anything about Eastern Europe, they love their synth-heavy, high-energy, and fast-paced electronic music. And let me tell you, that type of stuff is close to Arvi's heart. But the main reason I wanted to get Arvi on the show was to talk about this newest chapter. He's focused on music production, guys, and he's really honed in on what he's most influenced by and has so much music coming. Arvi is someone who is surrounded by a lot of talented people, and I can tell just within his first few productions here that he's got the hang of this shit, and it is so sick, the music that he's making. He's actually got a track coming out next week, but I'm not going to say too much. You guys are just going to have to listen in for that part of the interview. Now, I mentioned Alex Kislov earlier. No surprises here, and it's about time if you ask me, but him and Alex have finally made a duo called Malov, and it is so cool what they're doing. It's not just another DJ duo, guys. It's not just two guys making music. They've really got a sound, and they just mysteriously dropped their first single, Iron Eyes, last week on Careless Records, and it's a great track. You gotta go check it out right now. It's on all streaming platforms. I love what they're doing with it, and they've got some really cool things coming. Now, like I said, Arvi is one of the most well-known people here in the music industry and has been involved for almost a decade, so he's seen a lot of ups and downs, and of course, I wanted to get his take on what he thinks about the current state and the future state of the music industry. It's hard to say for certain what's going to happen, but I think Arvi gave a great response, so you should definitely listen in for his opinion on that. Like I said, guys, Arvi is a dear friend of mine, and I believe in this guy so much. I'm going to be front row as soon as I can in every single way. He is someone that is determined to make this happen and is all about longevity. Now, enough of me talking him up. Let's let you hear it for yourself. Let's get into it right now, guys. This is episode 129 with Arvi Mala. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, first in-person interview since early March, and there's not a lot of people I'd rather do it with. Arvi?
Oh,
Cheers, my man.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you. Let me tell you real quick, secret to my gin and tonics. I couldn't do it all, so sorry, I'm not giving you my very best. But diet tonic. So there's not actually the regular tonic in there. You know when you go to the clubs and you get a gin and tonic and you drink it and your mouth is drier than it was before? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of carbohydrates in tonic. People underestimate that.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'll remember that next 2 years when I go to
probably 3 years. 3 years from now at Sound Bar, I'll be there. The bartender, we'll both be bartenders there, right? Just trying to make it in.
Oh my god.
How have you been, my man?
Good, man. Just living day by day.
Yeah.
Studio to studio, trying to just like stay busy, keep busy.
Yeah.
Live life. Weird times.
Yeah, I know. It's flown by this year.
I hate this time.
I know,
hate it
man.
here.
But you've been keeping busy, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely try to keep busy. Like, man, at first, like, it was like a nice little vacation. Going from like 4 gigs a week or touring or traveling.
Out 6 nights a week.
Out 6 nights a week sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it would really depend on
Doing
what's going
anything.
on. Yeah.
7 nights a week in the summer.
Yeah, maybe.
That's crazy.
I cherish my Mondays. I did nothing on Mondays.
You do cherish your Mondays.
I
You're
love my
unavailable on
Mondays.
Mondays.
I am completely unavailable. My parents can't even reach me on a Monday.
I love that, man. Well, I know it's been crazy for a lot of people, especially for someone like you who really is just constantly moving, and then all of a sudden, can't even. It's not even like, oh, I'm gonna take a break.
Hard stop.
Yeah. That's good though, man, because
Yeah.
I feel like people like you, and I know you've been passionate about making music for a long time, and I know I've interviewed so many people over these past couple months, and it's been different for every artist, but similar in the sense where they've really gotten a chance to look at who they are, what they want to do with their brand, and is this really important to me, right? Because so many artists, they get a lot of momentum early, right? And then you hit that line, that plateau.
And then it's just kind of like...
in the middle, right? And then for so many of those people right now, they're just like, well, I've been at this point for a long time. I thought I had steam. I'm either done, or it's people like you who are like, yeah, I really love this. Like, I'm going to take advantage of this time, and I'm going to make music, and I'm going to, like, give back to myself. Because you're someone in the community, in the electronic music community, in the music industry here, Arvi. I know you know this, and you're a humble guy, but you do so much for the scene here, man. And
Thank you, man.
It's just been a pleasure. I mean, before we got on air, I think, when did I do the interview with you and Alex?
Almost 2 years ago now.
Crazy.
Now that you think about it, yeah, almost 2 years ago.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think it was
like
like
the Good Studio.
yeah. I think it was like it was maybe episode in the 60s or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Because I was really hoping we're like episode 69.
Yeah,
I was really trying to hit that.
I should have planned in advance for that, right? Well, this is episode 129.
Oh wow, perfect.
So pretty much, yeah. I guess it makes sense, right? 2 years later, I consider you truly a great friend, and it's been such a pleasure
Likewise, my man.
working with you in many different aspects, whether it be promoting parties or in the studio or all the other things, man. So just want to first acknowledge you for that.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Of course. And, you know, the one thing I didn't get to ask you when I interviewed with Alex, you know, Alex, he likes to go on tangents here and there, right?
Of course.
I wanted to ask you about you today, Arvi,
Yeah.
because this is a new chapter in the Arvi Mala book, but I think it's really important that we start from square one, man.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Tell me about, like, growing up and when music came into your life and electronic music.
Man. I was originally born in Tirana, Albania, which is the capital, and I lived there until I was about 3 years old. Then my family and I immigrated to Athens, Greece, where we lived till I was about 11 and a half. Yeah, I lived in Athens. I actually went kindergarten, first and second grade there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was strange because, like, when you're Albanian in Greece, it's the same as if, like, you're a different ethnicity here. And you really get, like, singled out and kind of, like, picked out in a crowd.
Yeah, I bet.
So school was interesting to say the least.
Jeez, you were bullied by Greeks.
I was bullied by everybody, man. I was a smaller kid. I was easy to pick on.
Yeah, for sure.
And then me and my family, my uncle was living here, so my family decided, let's pick up and move to the States. Things weren't really looking too kosher in Greece at the time. So then we moved here, and prior to us moving here, I remember we were vacationing in Greece, and that's where, like, my dad had a car at the time in Greece. Having a car in Greece at the time was like your upper middle class.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, it was a whole thing.
Well, it's a very poor country, notoriously, yeah.
And I think he ended up putting in, like, some, like, Euro tape, or it was a cassette tape, I remember. I think it was like Tiesto or something like that.
Hell yes.
But I remember it sounded really cool, and a lot of the really popular Albanian music, this guy DJ Brea, he had, like, really powerful music about the Albanian culture and, like, what people went through during the communist era, during the dictatorship era.
Wow.
But it was all very synth heavy, and it was, like, all very, like, I was used to listening to bands or, like, musicals or, like, seeing, like, you know, all these instruments in play.
Right.
And, like, it blew my mind on, like, what are these sounds? Because they're just, like, random things that aren't supposed to make sense. But they, like, all interconnect and just, like, work beautifully.
That's amazing.
And, yeah, from then on, I somehow just kind of fell down a massive rabbit hole. And
of course.
Just...
And when did you move to Chicago then?
Straight from Greece.
So how old were you then?
I was about 12.
12 years old.
12, yeah.
What was that time like for you, like, adjusting? Were you...
Really hard.
What was your English like at that point?
I had no English.
That's
My
insane.
first teacher was Greek, and I would go to school every day.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, the school was literally across the street of where we lived, our first apartment.
Oh, wow.
So it's like my mom would literally see me walk to school, and it was the same situation in Greece too.
Oh,
I
my
think they did
gosh.
this by design.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But my first teacher in America was Greek.
Yeah.
So I'd go to school and I'd learn English to Greek, then go back home and translate Greek to Albanian.
Gosh.
So for a very long time, I was just juggling all three, and like I was able to pick up perfect English within a matter of like 3-4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to speak, read, write it, everything. Got
Unbelievable.
chickenpox during cursive month.
Did you?
Yeah, which was awesome because
fuck
like
cursive.
I can't write cursive to this day. I still can't write cursive. But I remember back then teachers were like, "You're gonna have to write papers for college admissions in cursive." I'm like, let's hope not.
Good thing I'm gonna be a DJ.
Yeah.
My gosh, man, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. So
Well,
that was kind of like my childhood and life here.
Who did you meet at that time in your life? I mean, if you came to the United States, like that's a very, I guess let's call it a fragile time, right?
The first like up until I was like 15, 16, we moved around like every 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Just because it was just the time, just the situation, just how things worked. Like we were trying to get our feet in the ground. My parents were still trying to find jobs. They still had a language barrier they had to learn.
Yeah.
So I was moving around a lot up until we bought a house in Prospect Heights, the northwest suburbs from here.
Mm-hmm.
And my first friend in America was actually one of my best friends still, is Madison Brodner.
Yeah, you told me about her
so
recently.
me and her are like still super tight.
That's
like,
awesome.
Like I just saw her off to move to Denver recently, so I don't know, it was really cool to see life kind of come full circle and like still have some of those same people in my life. It's just kind of like that nurtured all like the random creativity or like the random weirdness that you were as a person.
Yeah. Gosh, I know.
Yeah.
I have those sort of friends too. And at that time in your life, right, like middle school, high school, it's a time where I believe you're truly yourself. And then those next couple of years when you're a teenager and then you go into college or whatever it might be, right, you think you're trying to find your identity. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was me for a long period of time. But I am today who I was when I was like 14 and 15 years old more than ever before.
Yeah.
And those friends who I was closest with then are the friends I'm closest with now, because it's sort of like this, I accept you for who you are. Like, you don't have any reason to be cool. Like, before all that stuff comes into play,
Yeah,
right?
it was kind of flipped for me. Like, I didn't really discover who I was to my full capacity or, like, really accepted myself for who I was. So I was, like, at least, like, 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, like, 29 now.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But
It's okay. I'm 28, man. We're in the same boat.
But like it took me a while to kind of figure out myself, and this was during the same time that I like discovered DJing and like met a lot of the same friends, like Alex, for instance, my best friend now.
Yep.
Like I met him during that time in my life, so it's great to see that like we all kind of grew up together, and we really discovered ourselves and discovered who I was, what I liked, what I wanted, like accepted all the imperfections, accepted all my weirdness.
Yeah, of course.
Just kind of dove headfirst into it and seeing what happens.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you have over a decade of experience at this point, right? I mean, how old were you when you felt like you were DJing, you were in the industry?
Consistently? About 20 to like 22 was like still trying to break in. I feel like the last like 3 to 4 years have been like really kind of like full on balls to the wall.
Absolutely.
Because prior to that it was like, who do I have to go and talk to to play this spot?
Right.
Which promoter's doing what? Who do I got to rub elbows with?
Such
you know?
the game,
Yeah, and the last few years it's been more of like I've been kind of given more opportunities to play some gigs as support or as myself.
Yeah.
And been trusted with being able to like handle that energy in that crowd and be able to like move past that, and that has led to the next, and you know,
of course,
so on and so forth.
Of course, man. I mean, what keeps you coming back though, right? Like little wins mean a lot, but is that little DJ inside of you still there every time?
Listen, like I love DJing, like it's great, but like what's the most fun about it is like that moment, like it's like that electricity, that power, that energy in the room.
Yep.
It's like it's not about you as much as sometimes you might think like, fuck yeah, this moment's awesome, this is great.
Right.
It's really about you and them, you and everybody in that room.
Yes.
Whether it be, you know, anywhere from ownership down to your regular customer.
Yeah.
It's really every little piece needs to come together for it to all work. And but without music and a DJ and a party, you don't have a party.
Yeah.
You have a room of 200 people drinking booze.
That's right.
Quietly.
Sounds like you figured that out pretty early on, though.
Yeah, I guess I'd say so.
I mean, going to throw in your own events, of course, the success of GLC and all the partnerships you guys have had. I mean, you rubbed elbows, let's call it, right? But you also built something, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was a lot of the people when I was coming in really try to. I met a lot of people that were really pieces of shit, and I met a lot of people that were great, fantastic people that actually cared about not just me as a person, but the scene as a whole. Yeah. And I think that's what really rubbed off on me, because it wasn't so much about mine and their relationship. It was about their relationship to me would affect the scene indefinitely, and my relationship to them would do that otherwise. So it was more about love of being able to create a community and a safe environment for all these people to be able to enjoy themselves, or be able to party safely, be able to do whatever they want, be able to be like, oh, dude, like we had that great time that one night, or you played that one track that like really set the tone for like how I met my girlfriend,
right?
Or how I met my now wife, or me and my boy's birthday, or this or that. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different instances that like you don't realize that you become a part of these people's lives, and it's through music or through you just trying to be the best person you can.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I try to envision everything that I did with everything that I did with GLC, everything that I've been trying to do with music is it's always been about being able to get the best message across, rather than let's double down and make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Like, great, that's awesome, that's naturally a part of business, but I feel like without having the soul of what you're doing and being real about it, then no amount of money in the world can ever fill that hole. No amount of fuck yeah awesome big boy moments can ever fill that up. For me personally, that's kind of how I feel about it.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's an invaluable thing that you're giving to people, right? It's like you're giving them experiences, not just like a good drink deal or, $5 a head if you bring girls.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's so much more than that, and it's very difficult to do in this industry because we all talk about this peace, love, unity, respect, but being in the industry, we know how much cutthroat shit there is.
Oh yeah.
And the more that you really connect with the people, or at least I've found this, right? Like, connections in the industry are of course important, and it's how you meet people, and it's how you move up, blah 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 blah. But I found that I get a lot more out of this. Like we talked about actually a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
When I think about what am I giving to the people who want to listen to me? What am I getting out of this? Like this conversation. Like if it was only me, you, and Ray that listen to this, I'd be fine with that because I'm enjoying the shit out of this. You know what I mean?
Fun.
And the more you do it, yeah, absolutely, man. Hopefully more people watch though. But
thanks for watching, Mom.
Yeah, my mom watched it. We're so cool. Mama's boys right here, man. My gosh. But it's really come full circle for you now, in my eyes, just looking at you now, right? Like, you've always been someone who was DJing and working hard and just building a name for yourself. And now, this time, you've given yourself a chance to work on music, right?
Yeah,
and you're here
a lot
now.
more than ever.
A lot more than ever. You'd released how many tracks before these last few months?
Honestly, I've released one remix to date so far.
Right, and
but
it was
I've had
early this year, right?
Early this year, yeah. Like right before COVID, actually.
Right. Yes, I remember.
But I started really taking music production seriously over the course of the last about a year now, year and a half. But it's been the last 6 months that I've really been like, all right, like I'm spending a lot of time in the studio with Orv or with other people.
Yep.
That I either look up to or I've just always wanted to sit in the studio with. And now I'm starting to realize kind of a little bit more of like how everyone's workflow is different, how everyone enjoys, like for instance, when I'm in the studio with Alex, dude loves working on melodies. I struggle with it, but like give me drums and I'll stay on that for the next 8 hours. No problem. But it's also been a part of, I can like this track I have coming out in a few weeks, Savannah. I've been working on this diligently since February, I want to say.
That's awesome.
I mean, a lot of times put into this. Like, the amount of time where it's just kind of like, I'm spending too much time on this. I need to leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy with how it came out, and I feel like because I gave it that extra time, love, and attention, and I really tried to zero in on it as much as I could, really try to make everything sound as best as it possibly could, everything in harmony with each other. I feel like from that, the last few tracks that I've been producing, 2 of which are almost done, which they're all drastically different from each other, which I absolutely love being able to do as a producer.
Yeah.
But those I've been able to knock out in like a month and a half, 2 weeks here, like a little bit there, like a lot faster in time and workflow than I originally was able to. And it's because it took me being able to just have to like, I'm gonna make this as awesome as I can,
Yep.
and the rest is gonna flow right in.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. Like, I guess transparently, before February and before that remix, where were you at mentally, or what was the blockade there?
It was a lot of you get caught up sometimes in a lot of
course.
the going out, the partying, the traveling. I was playing a lot of gigs, and it was fun, don't get me wrong, but it came to a point where I'm like, I don't want to just like be a DJ. Like I don't like I'd love to play 6-hour sets and people be like, you need to listen to a 6-hour set. That's great and all, that's really cool. But like, what am I really sharing with myself with that set? You know what I mean? That I love these songs, that I know how to put them all together, that I know how to create energy and a flow.
Right.
Sure, that's great.
Yep.
But I want to be able to have music that like correlates with also different aspects of my life.
Yeah.
Like a track that I've started working on, I have a buddy of mine who plays the Chiftile, which is
The what?
It's called the Chiftile.
Chiftile.
Chiftile. It's an Albanian banjo, essentially.
Fuck yes, dude.
But
That's what I'm
I've
talking
been trying
about.
to like kind of like, you know, pay homage to my roots, music person, the stuff that I like. So that's kind of like the direction that I'm really trying to go in with what I want to do with music. And, you know, with Savannah releasing in a few weeks, I feel like the rest of my music coming out is going to be kind of a cascading effect of like, done, master, here you go. Done, master, here you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get that rhythm. And I asked that question because I myself had that own problem. You know, it's much easier because you see a path to, at least in the Chicago scene, right? Like, if I want to be a big DJ here, I have to earn my stripes. Got to play shitty gigs to meet the right people, and then you finally wait, you get the opportunity, you crush the gig, keep going.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get to this plateau like we were talking about, right? And to me, it kind of sounds like you described that. You were like, I've done this, I've earned my stripes. I mean, Arvi, you played some incredible shows, dude.
Yeah.
Like, headlining Prism, like, you've been direct support for some of the biggest touring artists in the entire world, Lollapalooza after shows, like, you've done it, dude. Like, in my opinion, like, you've done the Chicago scene, and there's still more you could do and more you will do.
But I also looked at those as like, I did these are great.
Right.
Do I want to continue doing these for the next 6 years?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
It's like, now I'm pigeonholed and kind of stuck as being like the support guy for all these cats.
Yeah.
Which is great, you know.
It's respectable, of course.
It's respectable, but it's not something that I like. It doesn't speak growth or success or, you know, elevating as an artist or elevating as a person.
Yep.
It's just kind of like, it felt stagnant to me because I was in that position for a good year and a half. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, man.
But I definitely have taken to music production being a lot more important because it's the music that's going to, you know, push me out of the city into other markets. Or it's my music that's going to be played on some island somewhere in Greece or South Africa or whatever. You know what I mean? It's those little things that are like, that make it really awesome.
It sounds like to
that's
me,
kind of where I'm trying to head at.
I love that, man. And it sounds like, to me, you're thinking extremely clearly on it, and the most important thing is you're thinking about is longevity. And we know a lot of DJs right now who are great DJs, and honestly, like, the people that are watching this that say, I want to be a big DJ, you can make a career out of this shit, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, you can make 70, 80, 90, 100K a year being a great fucking DJ.
For
if you
sure.
love that, power to you. But in my opinion, you're thinking like, okay, what is it going to be like when I'm 30, 40, 50? Past then. This is a lifelong goal.
Exactly.
And you got to give something to yourself because you've given so much.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear you, like, just
Thanks,
excited about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited
Yeah, it's
about
great.
it.
It's great.
And I listen to some of your music, seeing you in the studio, seeing you behind Ableton, seeing you run me through everything. I was like, fuck yes, dude, he's doing it. This is happening.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, someone like Alex, who of course has been producing for a while, and I want to talk about this project, Malov.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fuck, we've all been waiting on this. Wait, let's rewind really quick. When
Okay.
you guys first gave this a shot, what was the group
Oh
name again?
yeah. It was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
6-7 years ago. We were a duo under Audio Velocity.
Audio Velocity.
So the whole during this time, mind you, we were
so
trans
European.
heads. We were, I mean, come on, bro. You got a Jew in Albania. What do you expect?
Dude, it's, honestly, I loved it.
But like we love trance, so like for us it was always like playing that trance music and being like really enamored with it. And you know, we played a main stage for Spring Awakening on like their second year or something. It was the Equinox, I believe.
It was such a sick video that I've seen.
Yeah, it was cool. But like at the time, we didn't really understand where we were musically. We weren't making music.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to like really carry on a brand. It's a lot of different factors come into play. You know, being that young and having a short sprint of success right away. You kind of just like we kind of doubled down and said, let's take a step back from it. Like clearly we're not doing anything with it.
Right.
Every time we try to push forward, it hits all these roadblocks that we haven't been able to see to overcome.
Yeah.
So from there on, we started GLC, Good Luck Chicago, and we started getting really involved in event production, music production, DJing ourselves.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like quite recently that we were like, let's start a duo. Like I feel like now we're musically mature enough to where we have a very similar understanding. Yeah. We do a lot of back-to-backs together, and he's one of the few people that I can, like, I'll play a track, dude reads my brain, I read his brain, and it's like we're in a flow for the next 3 hours.
Well, you guys can do. I mean, I guess a great example is direct support for Alessa. What was it, 10 to 1:30 Lollapalooza?
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
3.5 hour opening set for one of the biggest electronic artists at the biggest club in Chicago, the biggest festival and the biggest festival in the world.
That mixes actually.
And that fucking weekend, you guys will give yourself a credit later that weekend. You opened up for Camel Fat.
Oh yeah. I forgot that was back-to-back weekends.
Why do
actually.
I always remember that and you guys don't? That's so fucking sick.
Well, because it's like it's just a marathon weekend. Like Lala weekend is like. It's not about Lala, it's about the after parties. That's where the fun's at. That's where you have a good time.
But you guys are like, I mean, that's just crazy that you have that connection. And now that to me, it's happened years later because you've always had that connection, right? But to actually develop a brand together and a sonic identity behind that. Exactly. What have you learned about your own brand and maybe from Alex's perspective, his own brand, to now connect on that to make one unified goal?
Me personally, I love like super deep rolling bass line kind of stuff, like super like large, grandiose, empty yet full drops. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Is it supposed to?
To a tech house guy, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And Alex has been always been a little bit more on the house side, more on the happy, chordy, instrumental, poppy, bubbly, which is great. Love that stuff too. Yeah. But us together, it was like we kind of developed a medium of progressive tech house, I would say, or just progressive house in general, where it's like it's low, it's slow, it's moving, it's in your face, but it also like keeps your attention all the way through.
Of course.
I don't know how else to describe it.
I think that was pretty damn good.
Okay.
It's not easy to describe music. Like
my mom told me to say that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I listen to my mother.
Yeah, me too. They're still the boss. I mean, seriously though, man. So I want to know more about the name because I'm sure you guys. I'm sure you guys went through the gauntlet.
We went through names for so long.
Yeah.
So long, and then Dash Reigns. He was working for Liquor Box at the time, and we were doing a back-to-back. And he just kind of like he's like, I took both your guys' names together, first and last names. Put them through all these different, like, what sounded the best and stuff. And Malov was the one that came out. And he just put it on a flyer and said, this is what you guys are doing.
No way!
And me and Alex, like, argued it for a couple of weeks. Not argued it, but more of just kind of like, like, does it work? Try to be subjective about it.
Right.
And then I'm like, yo, no, this actually works. This is actually really tight.
Yeah.
And then come to Google and go down the rabbit hole. Come to find out it's actually a small town in Sweden.
Right.
And I love the Swedes. I love that entire region of the world. Like when we went to Amsterdam a couple of years ago, like it completely blew my mind on what the Dutch have been capable to do. They got everything right.
They just about literally.
So it was like it was all these little signs pointing towards it, and we're like, all right, cool. We're sticking with this, running with it. Let's go. Yep. And we just released the track yesterday without saying anything to anybody.
Congratulations, Iron Eyes.
I had to do it.
Careless Dark.
Yep.
And you did it out of nowhere. Sneaky fucks.
That was kind of the plan with that because we didn't want to tie it into.
You didn't even tell me. Like I was like.
I didn't tell my closest friends.
That's okay. I liked
my closest friend.
Yeah. Sure. It took me. Thank you. It took me past your mom.
My mom's my best friend.
Okay. Nice save. But I thought it was so cool, man, and how you guys rolled it out because. I think a lot of people try and do like a sneaky rollout, and it's just not really like. not that sneaky. Like, you literally were like top secret.
Well, how we looked at it was like, I don't want to tie Malov to Arvi Mala or to Alex Kislov or to Jill C or to Chicago as much, because then it felt like I can get pigeonholed and kind of stuck here. You know what I mean? I want it to be just like,
global.
Here's the music, check it out. If you dig it, add it to a playlist, play it out where you see fit. Just do what you want with it. Like, it's about the music. It's not about the cool ass branding that a lot of these different artists and producers try to have when they come fresh out the gate. You know what I mean? It's not. We didn't want to make it about that. We didn't want to make it superficial. We want to make it very simple. Like, this is about the music. This is something that we enjoy, we love, and we share with people, and we're kind of just like giving back into it. So that's why we really didn't try to have like a too insane of a rollout or too much going on behind it. Like, naturally, people that know us know that that's us, which is completely fine. But that track makes it overseas or makes it in South America, people listening to that won't know that it's us and won't simply enjoy it just because it's Alex and Arvi. They'll enjoy it because this is a really dope track. And that was our thinking behind it.
I love that, and it's a very educated sound. Like, that's how I would describe it, because it's a very it's dynamic track, and it's a journey. And you can say, anybody who thinks that's cliche to say a journey, man, like, that is exactly what it is to me. I listened to it again in some great headphones, and my God, it's so fucking clean, dude.
Thank you, man.
Was that Orville on the master, you said?
No, Orville did the original master, and then Johnny from Careless Dark.
Johnny Links?
Yeah, Johnny Links.
Yeah, baby.
He was like, just send me that over. Let me have a track and mastering it. And I was like, all right, all right, cool. That's tight.
Dude, it's really cool.
Everyone has their own mastering techniques, and like he just pulled it out. Awesome.
Wow. Well, congratulations to you, man.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Everybody, Malov. Malov.
Correct.
So sick. Happy for you, man.
Thank you, bro.
And it's so great because, I'm such a big fan of you guys, just like individually and together. You guys are just this like awesome combination. And I guess what I want to know too is more about like what your goal with it in terms of like live sets and stuff, because you did a mix for Prism. And it was not what I expected. Yeah,
exactly.
I didn't know what to expect, and even on top of that, it was not what I did not expect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
have you thought about that? Like,
we literally just talked about this like yesterday. Like, I would love to start incorporating like in the music itself, like live instrumentation, live recordings of people and things. I'd love to be able to run a couple of extra live step sequencers.
Ooh.
And like I want to be able to go crazy with it, because like DJing is awesome. Having 4 decks, having the V10. We played the Funky Brunch show with the V10.
Did you?
And 3 decks. Yeah, V10, awesome.
Fuck.
Awesome.
I didn't know you played it there.
It's awesome.
Oh God.
But like, it was really great. There's always room to improve, DJing wise. But I've always found it so mind blowing and interesting, being able to add extra sequencers or like just a live filters or whatever it might be. Just like those little extra steps really change the game on your set. Objectively, you can really do those and dial in on those if you're doing 3 to 5 hour sets.
Yes, that's true.
Because an hour set, you're just figuring out what this machine is.
Dude, of course. That's awesome. You got to do that these days. I think one thing that I'm kind of teaching to myself is when we come back, however it comes back, just in terms of like the live aspect, right? Like, there's going to be less availability for gigs because places are shutting down, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be a ticket on a bill that people want to come to see. People are willing to pay for it, right? And DJing has become mainstream. I think it's a great thing, honestly, because a couple years ago,
we were all in the underground.
We were all the underground, right? If you even think about when it was really popping, like when we were, in our 20s and stuff, right? That's when SoundCloud was really blowing up, and people like Blau and Caps Lab are going on global tours off of Mashup.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the
Strange
fuck,
signs.
dude? Strange signs,
Holy
man.
shit. Could you imagine that now?
Dude, like literally get in line.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. And now, over the past, let's call it 10 years, right? Like, so much has changed.
Yeah.
We've seen festivals come. We've seen artists blow up. We've seen venues change the landscape. Super clubs like Radius and stuff, right? We're seeing like a cyclical process. But now we're seeing different things, right? Of course. I want to ask you, Arvi, as someone that has been in the industry and seen a lot of these cycles, How do you think things are going to come back, and what are you doing as an individual to stay
I was really
relevant?
hoping you wouldn't ask me that question.
I have to.
I know you do.
I ask you the tough questions. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Like, I've never, like, I usually have an answer for everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's a smart
okay
ass
to not have
comment,
an answer.
whether it's a smart ass comment or like an educated guess.
Yeah.
But like, I really don't know. It's such a strange time. Like, all the drive-ins are happening,
Right.
which are great. Like, at least there's something for people to actually do there, and people actually go to them. There's actually an outlet for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, your average consumer that would go to shows or events wouldn't go to Concord for Green Velvet. They go to Concord for Green Velvet. That closed at 2, and then they go to Spy Bar or Sound. They go somewhere else. There was always like an extra outlet after that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if you're not going to one show a weekend. You're getting the experience of 2 to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
If you avidly go out.
Yep.
So I don't know when or how, but like things will definitely be different. The way agencies work is gonna remain the same to an extent. Like a lot of the industry aspects will have to remain the same, just because of how it was built from the get-go.
The pillars, yeah, of course.
Exactly, but I really don't know. I really don't know. It's just more of a wait and see. So instead of like, I've toyed with the idea of like, let's throw a really cool show, or let's do this, or I've done some really cool live streams, but it's just not the same. And no matter how cool the live stream would be, like we did one at LEC's studios.
And that was sick.
That was amazing. That was really cool. That was next level production.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't. It's just not the same without having a crowd there, without having that other piece to the energy that you need to share with people.
Yep.
So I really don't know. It's more of like a wait and see and control only what you can control, because when it comes to that, we have no control of the situation. We don't know how all the different things are going to change up, from restrictions, what's allowed to wear, if you got to wear a mask or not, which like, because it's so polarized, the whole country is so polarized and the whole thing, it's creating the sense of anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like you feel awkward being someone without a mask if there's more than like 10 people.
It's so strange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's that polarization that kind of like gives people that anxiety. So you just kind of we need to just go with it and just focus on what we control and just doing the best part that we can, because we're a part of the grand scale of the human race. Yeah. So we just need to do our part, whether that be sanitizing your hands, wearing a mask when you're told to, not going to any of these parties or events that are happening that have like over 50 to 100 people at, you know what I mean? Just like playing it smart and just seeing how it rolls out. If you're a producer, focus on making music. Yep. Seeing how and like just have a plethora of music ready to go, ready to release. If you're an artist, focus on your art, on your craft. Yep. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, having the time to do that without all those distractions. Yeah. Without having to feel like you could. Without feeling like
you're doing a great job.
Okay. I'm like overthinking.
No, keep going, bro. Like you're spitting knowledge.
It's like there's not those distractions of being able to. It's a Thursday, I can just go to Spy and just like chill, or it's like it's a Saturday and Saturday night, so I have to go out. Right. Like
expectations.
The expectations or distractions, really, because you're gonna go out, you're gonna go drinking or whatever, what have you, and then like kind of cascades the rest of your week or the rest of your day. So it's like not having all those distractions or all being able to do all those things. I feel like me personally, it zeroed me in as a person. Yeah. It's kind of like really smoothed me out and kind of realized what's more important to me, where my values lie, and what do I want myself to kind of project onto the world and, have that effect of people closest to me. Yeah. And hopefully it's a paid forward effect.
I gotta tell you, I've asked that question now how many episodes in the past 6 months, and that was probably the best. Because you know why? I think everyone admits that they don't know. Yeah. Right? And I don't think there's a bad answer to this question. And I asked this question because I'm trying to answer it myself. Like, if you asked that to me, I'd probably say something along those lines, right? And I don't really know. So I wanted to ask you that because it is something that we're all thinking, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's such a fine line of...
When can we get back to the club?
Yeah, of course, of course. And someone that I had a great conversation about it with Toombs. And he said it's such a fine line of people projecting, right? And saying, if you don't come out at this time with a new hobby or, a new mastered skill, then what did you even do? And then the whole other side is there's this mental health aspect,
No, man.
right?
And that's the huge thing, too, is like with people projecting, like, everyone's their own human. Everyone has their own pace on things. Like, if you come out of this with even like 1% a better person than you were beforehand, that's a success in my book.
That is exactly what I'm saying. I love that.
Yeah.
You just have to, I mean, this time is unprecedented, so why not just say fuck, man? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Do something. Whatever it might be, yeah.
Whatever it might be. I think, like, I'm on the side where I'm not telling people what to do. I'm asking myself that question. What do I want to do with this time? I'm happy. I'm glad I have a job. I'm glad I have a fantastic girlfriend and a great family and a close set of friends, and that's really important to me.
Yeah,
and I wasn't appreciating that as much as I should have been.
Definitely. Crazy how that works, is. Huh?
I love my girlfriend so much.
Are you just saying because you've been with her a lot more
A
lately?
lot, dude, a lot!
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
cheers to girlfriends,
yeah,
bro.
exactly, man, exactly. So, like, not that I haven't ever loved her less or anything like that, but I'm just like, I'm thinking and feeling out loud like I never have before.
I'm able to see clearly.
I don't give a fuck what people think because there's a goddamn global pandemic, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
So my thing is like to be unapologetically Sherm. And that's what I'm trying to do during this time.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I'm taking chances on new forms of content. That's why I'm interviewing people that I normally wouldn't be comfortable with because I think they might think I'm not important or whatever it might be, right?
You're important, sure.
Thank you.
You matter.
Thanks.
You was kind. You was special. You was important. All right?
God damn it. That was good. That was good. That was really good. Jesus, man. But I appreciate you sharing on that.
Of course, man.
There are a lot of DJs and producers that watch this show and look up to people like you. And I guess what would you say to them right now if they're saying, well, what should I do, Arvi?
Whatever it is that you wanted to do
Yeah.
or like been too scared to or have held yourself back on, like just go for it. The worst that's always going to happen is you're always going to get a no. And if you fuck up, good, because you got to keep fucking up to learn something and get better at it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it. Like, and a lot of people throughout the years, DJs have always come up to ask me, or like people that want to be involved in the scene, like, oh, like how are you involved in this? Like, how do you do this? And it's just like there's no secret formula. There is no
time.
There is no I figured this out or I hacked the system.
Yeah.
It's just like whenever I see an opportunity, I think to myself, I'm going to either give 150% of myself to it, whatever it might be, whether it be DJing, music production, or putting myself out there of, hey, I want to be on the show, even if it's a no or no email response back, or sending it to a label and getting told like, no, this track sucks, which
happens a lot.
Happens a lot. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, if you're gonna be scared to fail, then like be comfortable where you're at.
Yeah.
But don't be comfortable where you're at, because that's not how you grow. You gotta get uncomfortable. You gotta be okay with just like pushing forward and just doing stuff, and reaching out to the people around you, especially, and asking these questions. Because like you're asking me, and I'm telling the viewers that are listening to it, but also like the one-on-one conversations are also important, because a lot of those people a lot of these younger up-and-coming cats are able to grasp and kind of internalize a concept a little bit differently.
Yeah,
when you're telling them, when they're asking in person. So whenever anybody has always asked me, hey, do you got a minute to chat? Like, I always try to make a minute or two as much as possible, because when I was coming up, these are the conversations I had. People were kind enough to be able to have these conversations with me, be able to tell me what were their small steps to success, their small wins to move forward. And I feel like that's important for me to share that, because that also ties right back into, we're all one giant community.
Yeah. God, fucking A, drop it knowledge, bro. Clip that shit. Clip that shit. Clip. Love that, man. And that was so pure, and that really is all there is to it, right?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be complicated. Like, working way up in the
We're
business.
humans. We complicate every fucking thing.
Dude, we really do. We are the craziest motherfucking species.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So it's probably, I think it's 2 years since you went to Burning Man, right?
2018, yes.
Pretty much to the day. It's this time of year, right?
It would have been Liberty weekend, so it's been about 3 weeks since, 3-4 weeks, about that.
Now, the reason I want to ask about this is because I guess I met you shortly after that, actually. So it actually has been exactly 2 years. So I remember I asked you about Burning Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
To me, it kind of seemed like you evolved.
Yeah.
Well, have your influences and inspirations maybe since then? Not that like that individually, that moment. Like how have you grown over the past 2 years?
I've just become more clear. It's prefacing Burning Man for me because where I was in my life 2 years prior to that, I was in a different relationship. I was not able to really like handle situations as clearly, as concisely as I am now.
Yeah.
And after that burn, it was like kind of like let go a lot of the things of my past at the door and kind of like accepted myself as the new me and moving forward into that.
Mm-hmm.
My influences haven't necessarily changed. It's my appreciation for all these different things that's changed. I've just become more accepting, more loving, more in tune with myself and what I want and what I feel, and being able to say no or yes or fuck yes.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't necessarily attribute everything to the burn. But I would say that it was very important to me. Mm-hmm. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone has their own takeaways from it. And no matter what I say about it to you, if you were to go, it just wouldn't mean a goddamn thing. Because you'd just be there like, oh, lights, fuck yeah. When do I put my goggles on? Yeah. So it's just made me a little more appreciative of, everything that I have in my life and everything I don't have. And everything I want and everything I need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pure.
Yeah. It's honest. It's
honest. Man. I agree with you there. That kind of like sparked a thought in my head too. It's like, you people ask who are your biggest influences and inspirations, right?
Yeah.
And you say this, and it's another thing to like really actually take action with influences and inspirations, right? Because like, I can be a big fan of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But is that an inspiration for me?
No.
Right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people. I ask you that because I love how you think, Harvey. That's like one of my favorite parts about you, is because you are someone who thinks with how they feel about something. You feel before you think.
Yeah.
I guess whether you know it or not. I've noticed that about you, and I think it's a great human trait. It's a great human trait because a lot of people don't. Right? And I see you now here sitting today, like someone who's taken. I'm gonna quote DJ Susan on this. You're 10 toes down, bro. Like you're 2 feet. You're literally jumping right in right now to this next level.
Yeah.
Of music production.
And I feel like as much as sometimes I want to get down on myself, like shit, I should have done this sooner.
Yeah.
Should have really dove in sooner. Should have done this sooner. Should have done this or that. It's like it doesn't fucking matter because it at the end of the day, it's really about how it comes out and how I feel about it, and if I feel good about it, then I'm good with it. Because anytime you have any sort of self-guilt or self-pity, it just does nothing for you.
Yeah.
Realistically, it does nothing but take away energy from you.
Yeah.
Energy that you could be spending on getting better at producing or getting better at being a better person or whatever it might be,
Yeah. Using your energy to the fullest.
Yeah, exactly.
So how are you feeling right now? Feeling good?
I'm good, dude. I'm feeling really good. Like,
good.
This is good. We're doing
this.
We're having a nice conversation.
Yeah, I feel the energy. You're like you're happy, and I can feel it.
Yeah, I'm just like in my head. I'm just like, what else can I work on? What else can I move forward on? You know what I mean? And then like if I have a lazy day, I make sure I use that to the full my capacity.
I know you know how to do that. Be
a complete like lazy piece of shit that day, because that is the one day you get that week or that month, and you gotta use it and just get it out of your system.
Yeah. People need to do that.
100%. Very important.
You have to take time for yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes 15-hour Call of Duty sprints are necessary.
What the fuck?
I'm kidding.
Is that a thing?
No. Yes.
Don't clip that. That's bad. Jesus, dude. Well, what can we expect the rest of this year from you? When is the next release coming then for Arvi?
I am looking into October 7th.
That's so soon.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was actually waiting to have this interview with you.
I know. Ruined the plot of the whole interview.
Fuck this interview.
That's okay.
Can I cut that
out? No, that's good content. Sorry.
I was looking. I'm aiming for October 7th. I just want to get Savannah out for the rest of this year. I'm just focusing on finishing the remainder of projects that I have open. There's a collab I have with Max Canones.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we
shit.
We started on this like a month and a half ago. And
He's on a rampage. Dude.
Yeah, he's
I
really
asked him
on it,
what
too.
drugs he's taking this morning. He said meth, and I was like, okay.
Sounds like a bad comment.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the year, I'm just focusing on just making music and drawing inspiration from different things, and just having every piece of music that I release have a correlation, something special that has to do with me. And there will be tracks in there that are just like, this is a fucking banger, this needs to come out. But there's also going to be stuff in there that's like, that ties into a moment in my life or an experience or something that I'm inspired to love deeply and dearly. And that's kind of my approach on how I'm really looking the rest of this year and the rest of next year.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Savannah's coming soon.
Savannah's coming soon.
It's fire. I've heard it. It's dope, man.
Yeah.
God, it's such a pleasure to sit here and talk to you, Arvi, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time, man.
Of course,
I always
bro.
love sitting with you.
Me too, man. Maybe we should just do this the rest of the night, right?
Yeah, right? Record 8 hours of bullshit.
Ray would love that.
No, guys, I got work tomorrow.
Yeah, so like it's 2 a.m.
Can I go?
Can you guys stop talking about your moms? Well, cheers to you, my man.
Cheers, brother.
Guys, make sure you go check out Arvi Mala's new project, Malov, and of course his upcoming music. This guy is going to do
Cheers,
big
guys.
things, and I'm confident in that. First in-person interview in a few months. Feels good to be back. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, man.
Oh, man.